What's up, everybody out there? How are you doing? How are you doing? I want to first of all say thank you so much for your like, your shares, your subscribing to the channel. I thank you for your comments. I thank you for all of your support. I do promise you, I cannot do this without you. You definitely play a major role in all that is happening over here. And I have to say one more time, thank you so much. I do. Thank you. Whew. Well, it's spring break, and I am going to take a break. And I'm also going to catch up on a lot of things that I've been wanting to talk about since I can remember. All right. So right now I want to talk about Tyler Perry. Okay. And I've talked about Tyler Perry before when I had another channel. And well, it is what it is. It's pretty much going to almost be the same thing I said before. But I'm going to add some things to it as well. Now, let me first of all by saying this. My hat's off to Tyler Perry. It is. I mean, this man has accomplished so much and has done so much for the African American community, period, as it relates to keeping African American men and women working in Hollywood. Okay. Now, back in the day, some of you might recall that Tyler Perry and Spike Lee was going back and forth as far as what they have contributed and what they are contributing to the entertainment industry, or as we should say, I guess, the television, right? And I must say, from a person who grew up watching Spike Lee movies and then being introduced to Tyler Perry movies and then liking his movies and his brand, I promise you I was pretty much disheartened to see that these two guys were going back and forth. You could say these two guys, you could say these two black men, or these two black directors in Hollywood going back and forth with each other, because I kept saying to myself, it's not necessary. Tyler Perry and Spike Lee, as I said just previously about Tyler Perry, both of them kept black actresses and actors working in Hollywood. Let's just call it for what it is. Tyler Perry has introduced some African American actors and actresses that we are now, come to like, come to love, and follow their careers, as well as Spike Lee. Let's just be honest. Spike Lee is pretty much stayed in his lane and handled, his movie from a particular angle, and so has Tyler Perry. There's no need for us to go down that road to rehash what that angle is. It is what it is. All right. Now, I must say I have never grown tired of a Spike Lee joint, if you will. I've never grown tired of him from a creative standpoint. However, I have grown tired of Tyler Perry from a creative standpoint. So let's talk about it. This is not what you want to call a backhanded compliment. First of all, it's my fault that I've grown tired of Tyler Perry. Yes, it's my fault. I'm taking accountability for that. And I want to tell you why. I remember I was at work and I was working at this residential place. And so the people, the class, they were watching a movie. I think it was called, it wasn't Diary of a Mad Black Woman, was it? I think it was. I think that was the name of the play. Anyway, they was watching this play. And I remember just sitting back watching it and kind of laughing, chuckling about it, so on and so forth. Didn't think much about it. I just said, oh, this looks, pretty good. I knew it was a play. And obviously, black actors and actresses in it. And it's what it was. The next thing I know, it seemed to take off. And I'm talking about, the next thing I know, there's another play, there's another play, there's another play, there's another play. And before I know it, I'm finding myself enjoying these plays. Whew. So much so that when I would see a play, I would purchase the play, right? And it didn't take long for me to realize that some of the plays had a particular theme. Some of the plays had a reoccurring actor or actress in it. And so I was like, okay, but I still like them nonetheless, right? But then what was happening with Tyler Perry's career is that he would do a play, he released that play on DVD, and then he eventually got to the point where he would turn the play into a movie. So here you have yourself going to a Tyler Perry's play, some of us, purchasing that play on DVD and going to see the movie. And some of us, those diehard fans, found ourselves doing this over and over and over and over and over again. Burnout. That's why I said I hold myself accountable for my burnout on Tyler Perry. And so it gets to the point where you're saying to yourself, no, it's not doing it for me. Now, there's one thing about a Tyler Perry's play that I promise you I have definitely disliked from the very beginning, and that's the singing. I just don't want, when I watch a play, I don't want to watch the singing. I don't. All of Tyler Perry's plays, when they start to sing, except for 2 songs or 2 performances, I would say, I don't change. I don't fast forward through them. But from the day one I've done it, I was like, okay, anybody who watched a Tyler Perry play with me would just tell you he's going to fast forward. I want to hear the singing. Anyway, one day I got the opportunity though to see one of Tyler Perry's plays, and that was Medea on the Run. I looked up one day, just looking at things at a particular location, and I was like, oh, Tyler Perry is going to be, there's going to be a Tyler Perry's play there. And so I checked my money. I said, oh, okay, I can go. It was out of town, it wasn't in my area. It was out of town. I said, I think I can do this. And so that's what I did. I went to see that play, Medea on the Run, and I promise you, oh my gosh, it was an experience. It was one of the highlights of my life. I promise you. I heard a lot of people talk about Tyler Perry plays, and I went, and I promise you, I was totally, totally amazed and at awe with the play. I was. And I promise you, I didn't even cringe through the singing. Again, not that the singing or the songs were bad. I just didn't come to hear the singing. I wasn't coming to a concert. I want to see a show, a play. And so I left. I was like, wow, telling everybody how wonderful it was. Those who have never seen the Tyler Perry play, I was like, you have to go see Tyler Perry, a play. Forget going to the movies. Forget purchasing the VHS or the DVD movies. You have to go at least see one Tyler Perry's play. Well, then some things started to happen I didn't like about Tyler Perry. I didn't like the creative part of Tyler Perry as it relates to, again, rehashing almost the same story over and over and over and over again. And to me, it got to the point that I would see the play, I will purchase the play on DVD, that he would turn the play into a movie, as I said. And then once you have the Tyler Perry play collection, then you have the Tyler Perry's movie collection, and then you would look and see, oh, he took that from that movie and he changed it up a little bit, and then he used that from that movie, changed it up a little bit, and he created a whole new movie. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just, oh gosh, like I'm done. I just can't take Tyler Perry anymore, right? So that was number one. Number two, what made me not want to be supportive of Tyler Perry was when I discovered, this is before it came out. I was aware of it. The public at large was not aware of it. But yes, Tyler Perry had allegedly, let's just say, even though it's out there in the news, but let's just go ahead and say allegedly, he had some issues with his writers. Now we know what that issue is. And Tyler Perry is basically said, hey, budget. Hey, here I am. I'm going in and I'm writing these strips and all of that stuff. And then I got to repay these writers again for having to rewrite something that's just too much money, so on and so forth, blah, 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 blah. So from my understanding, Tyler Perry took it upon himself to be the writer of everything. I was like, oh my gosh, why are you doing this? I understand it from an economical standpoint, but again, from a creative standpoint, for someone such as myself, I'm like, this is not working at all. Okay, so that would be the next thing. Then what I was discovering about Tyler Perry is how he responded to these things and how he was just pretty much, well, I'm not changing it. I understand. I hear what you're saying. I'm not changing it. No, 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 no. He refused. It happened, understandably so. And I was one of the ones, I'm no longer interested in Tyler Perry. For that reason. Then there was something else that came out. When you started to look at the Tyler Perry's movies, you realized that, well, aesthetically, there were some things that were just not pleasing. All right. And I guess you could call that pretty much a female thing, because I really wasn't paying attention to, how someone hair looked or how someone dressed for the most part. I never looked at it in that regards, because I felt like, well, it's a character, and maybe that's how the character was supposed to look. That's how the character's hair, that character hair should look. That's the way that character is supposed to dress. So I looked at it as intentional for the character, not intentional for budget reasons. It is what it is. If this man can build an entire studio, then he has the money. If he don't want to use the money, that's him. It is what it is. So now we go from that issue, and then him going back and forth with Oprah Winfrey creatively. I was like, oh my gosh, this is becoming a little too much for me. And I was really rooting for Tyler Perry. I was rooting for Tyler Perry because when I discovered he wanted to have his own television network, I was like, I'm there. I was, like I said, I was one of those people who I was like, I love Thy Neighbor, House of Pain. What's the other one? I think there was another one that was out. I liked it as well. I was like saying to myself, like, yes, I like these sitcoms. So I just know that a Tyler Perry network, a cable television network, I knew would work. And we was going to get some great programming, because I definitely was not feeling Oprah Winfrey's network at all. And the have and have nots is basically what got me to watching the O network. It is what it is. But now I'm seeing something with Tyler Perry that I'm still not liking. And what is that? Well, I'm noticing that Tyler Perry, when he's choosing his actors and actresses now, Like everybody cannot be drop dead gorgeous. You know, no offense, because no, some of these people can act. Let's just call it for what it is. And I get the feeling that some of these people have the roles they have because they look good. It has nothing whatsoever to do with acting now. When I'm seeing some of these shows, what do you want to call them? These dramas or you know, I'm sorry, these sitcoms, whatever. I'm looking like, come on, you mean to tell me now we have gone from what I've just said, no need to repeat it, from what I just said about certain things that I see within, you know, Tyler Perry's uh, creative arsenal. Now you have gone from all of that. Now it's down to basically, oh, they can play the part because they look good. That's why I'm done. I can't. This here is where I stop. Okay, like I applaud him. Don't get me wrong. This is not a backhanded comment at all towards Tyler Perry. I'm here to tell you he is keeping African Americans working. If this man was not doing that, some of these people will probably not have a job. We'll talk about that later too. But some of these actresses and actors would probably not have a job. And I'm saying that maybe some of these people really and truly wanted to be actors. I don't know how, you know, he found these actors and actresses. I don't know if it just somebody looked and said, hey, you look good. I don't know if he found them at a gym. I don't know if they decided to say, hey, I want to try acting. And they just showed up and just read. Well, he looked good. Put him in a role. You see what I'm saying? Like this is where it stops for me. It stops for me. It stops for me. Like I'm at the point where I feel like I'm almost insulted as someone who would watch these shows. I give you a prime example. Here's a prime example. Because I've tried to rationalize this in my head to give it a try. Because when I'm thinking about the dramas now, I'm saying to myself, well, it's no different than watching the soaps, you know, back in the day, as the word turned, God and Light, The Young and the Restless, General Hospital, all of those shows. Didn't they have drop dead gorgeous people on the shows? Yes, they did, but they also had other people on the show who were not so drop dead gorgeous. Like, again, yeah, I'm sorry. Everybody can't be. Everybody can't be. And it's not jealousy. Trust me, it's not that. Because again, I feel insulted as someone who would watch the shows, because I'm thinking you're thinking that as long, oh, girl, he look good. Man, you see that? Man, that's why, like, no, some people want to watch it because they want good quality content. And then it's becoming too sexualized. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I just can't do it. You know, it's almost like watching reality television now. I can't watch reality television anymore. I'm guilty. I'm telling you, I take responsibility and accountability for it. I was a diehard love and hip hop fanatic. Like, I watched all of them. When one season was ending, then going into another season, I was like, man, yes, we get another one. And then I said, this here is straight foolishness. And then I get over to watching another reality show, and I'm like, oh gosh, like, this here is just too much. Like, this does nothing for up here. It's like, it does nothing. Like, I don't get anything out of it. I'm sorry. So my hat's off to him. Creatively, he's going to go in the history books. I mean, he's already written in it. The name is there. I'm pretty sure those who go to school for media, to be journalists and all of that, I'm pretty sure he somewhere or another, he's in some of those books now. I'm pretty sure of that. But I just don't think that I can do any more Tyler Perry. I think at this moment in time, Tyler Perry owes it. In matter of fact, media, period, owes it to society to at least put out some good quality content. They do. I think about things such as, back in my day, we would have those after school specials, where you'll learn the lesson in it. It would teach you the lesson. Like they'll give you the event or the thrill or the suspense or whatever that thing is, the conflict, but at the end of it, you learn the lesson. You understand? And we're not learning anything now from any network, any director, any artist. We're not learning anything. It's just, it's not at all. But I can honestly say the movie, I think it's Daddy's Little Girls. Like that was a great movie. It was. It really was. I also liked the one with Mary J. Blige and Taraji P. Henson in it that he did. I can't think of the name of it, where she was a singer. Like, there are some good movies that he has, but when it comes to these cable television shows now, again, I think you think that all we want to do is see TNA. TNA and D and DNC. I don't know, I'm just throwing stuff out there. Yeah, but I'm saying Tyler Perry. I think it is time for some good quality content this year. Like this year, I think that you should write it out and say, wait a minute, hold on. Stop looking at a viewer such as myself or a fan such as myself. I feel like I have been pushed aside when it comes to your programming. I feel like I have been, because now there's no room for me. And I know when you guys probably go into, do your budget meetings and you talk about trends, or you talk about what you could do next, and you total up all of that, the numbers, who's going to view it, and what markets can you go into, so on and so forth. Again, when you look at it, and it's just a small amount, but I'm worth it. I'm worth it, is what I'm saying. We are worth it. That 3%, that 5%, that 10%, we are worth it. You cannot afford to even lose us. You can't. And I'm looking for some place within your content now to give us good quality content as it relates to, hey, this here is just a great movie. This here's a great story that needs to be told. We're not concerned about, if these people can look good or anything like that. We want to get the people who can definitely deliver this story, tell it, and bring about a thought and change. That's what I'm looking for. I hope so. I hope so. But at this moment in time, I'm done. But anyway, hey, my hats off to you. Congratulations to you again, Tyler Perry. Really, truthfully. I understand what it's like to be creative and then have everyone critique it. Trust me, I understand. What I'm saying is, I want to go on that journey with you, not necessarily with what you're doing now, but I do want to go on that journey with you. But I can't go on it if you're not extending, if you will, some content that I can watch. On that note, let's do what Tyler Perry did. Let's put our behind where our hearts desires to be. And whenever I leave my mother's presence, remember, she says, baby, I love you, but God loves you best. I love you out there. Make sure you're loving people. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next video. Until then, You all take care of yourselves out there.